Thursday. You are locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. You know, come on, bringing us in with the Too Short. Too Short once said that this song and Shake That Monkey can keep him paid forever. He can go anywhere in the world. He gets requests to perform those two songs all over the world and gets paid a whole lot of money for 15 minutes a show. So I know that's right. Happy Thursday. I hope you are feeling good, relaxed, locked in, got a snack and a libation because you were checked into RSVP with Jill Munroe. This is the entertainment, sports, culture, and lifestyle trending topics and headlines show. And we, of course, have a lot to discuss tonight. I hope that you are enjoying your day, getting ready for the weekend. You know, one more day before it's Friday and the end of summer is quickly approaching. I mean, for a lot of people, it's done. Kids back to school. It's over with. But the weather doesn't feel like it. Anyway, let me get you ready for what we have in store for you tonight. First up, if you haven't already, make sure you download the app. You know you can catch up on all of the shows here on KBLA Talk 1580 on the app. You can leave a message for any of the hosts you like. I mean, I think it's just the thing to do. Next up, make sure you're following us on all of our socials, KBLA 1580. Make sure you're following me at Stiletto Jill, of course. And if you feel like checking out the visuals for RSVP, if you feel like stepping into the VIP chat, because you're all VIPs, right? You can clock us on YouTube. The chat in there is very opinionated, lots of commentary. And of course, if you have a comment, if you want to call in and, you know, share your opinion, hit us up, 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. Now, let me run down the topics for the evening. We're going to get into Dwyane Wade, and is he looking at a bid in politics for Senate in Florida? We're going to talk about that. We're going to get into Kandi Burruss. She says the fans, with all due respect and love to them, are never going to get this. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get into Taryn Manning's apology. You know, she was on Orange is the New Black. I missed this story, but there's a lot happening with it, so we're going to run down those details, right? We're also going to talk about BET no longer being for sale and what happened with that, what we imagine, what it means. We're going to get into those sort of topics. And, oh, I can't forget this. There might be a wedding announcement, a merger of two huge sports families. Yes, we're going to get into that. You know, we have Back for Night 2 because it's a special week this week. Trent the artist, Trent Jackson, he's going to be in here weighing on these topics. One of them, that potential celebrity sports family merger, is one of Trent's favorite topics. It's not. He came up with a name for the individual, and it's escaping me right now, but it's so funny. We're going to get into
prevention.
Loss prevention. That is what it is. So fitting. So fitting. We're going to discuss loss prevention. We'll get into what that means. All of that and more. But before we get into those main topics, you know I have to have a couple of conversation starters for you. So Drake has been in the Los Angeles area with his latest tour. He and 21 Savage performing at the Kia Forum in Inglewood, California. Inglewood, you know, there's been lots of incidences there, not bad ones, just, you know, things that are conversation worthy, right? So first up, there was Drake threw his sweaty towel into the crowd and a guy pushed the girl out of the way that Drake was trying to throw it to. So Drake kind of mugged him and was like, hey, I'll come up there. And he supposedly sent security up there to make sure the young lady received the towel like she should have and that everything was cool. Also, there was commentary because Kim was spotted. You know, Drake does this walk through the crowd to the stage, and he walks through part of what I guess is a VIP area of some sort. And so Kim Kardashian was at one of the shows, and he has a line that he spits about Kim, and she was mouthing the lines, and people felt that she was a little too smiley when he walked by, leaving his performance, and they went back to the rumors that Kanye started during one of his many Twitter and Instagram rants. I know it's X now, but it will forever be Twitter. Forever my Twitter. Anyway, so, there's some type of history there. And so there was a lot of Twitter commentary, which we love, about whether or not Kim was being inappropriate. And if Kim was showing disrespect to her husband by being at a Drake show and enjoying the performance. I swear you guys are so sensitive right now to concert performances that are supposed to be enjoyed. It's theater. I don't know. But all of that happened, right? And so last night during Drake's show, Drake, of course, because he keeps the thrills coming, presented a young lady with a pink Birkin bag that was in the audience at his show. He was just kind of looking around, trying to see who to give it to. Found her. He was in full Canadian Drake mode because, the patois was there and so forth. And he said to make sure that security walked her out to her car so that nobody messed with her and, wilds out on her. So she was gifted with a $20,000 bag for attending Drake's show. Isn't that nice? And then Drake's dad, not to be outdone, hit the stage. And, women have been throwing their bras on stage at Drake throughout this tour. A young lady ended up with a couple of offers because she wore, I think it was a 34G or something like that. And so she got a lot of offers from that. So there's been sort of, maybe a quiet competition, maybe a hope, maybe, I don't know, bra throwing. So Drake's dad, Dennis Graham, delivered him with a huge bra on stage with a note that read, "Dad's wishing big things for you. I love you. Make sure you're breastfed correctly." We will get into all the trending topics and more. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
Hi, it's Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 is inviting you to join us on Saturday, September 16th, 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for our very first economic empowerment event for the community. This event is free and is powered by Caltrans. We're doing this in association with Rambo House, and here's Rambo to tell you more.
Contracts. I'm going to say it again for all of us small business owners out there. Contracts. Rambo House, KBLA, Tavis, me. Oh my God, this is going to be massive. I truly thank Caltrans for giving us the opportunity to focus on contracts. Listen, that's what it's all about to be a small business in LA. That's how we hire our own. That's how we expand our community is contracts. KBLA1580.com is for you to have a seat at our contracts-focused event. Contract Ready does it again. We had over 900 last time. So you guys know how exciting this is. And if you just think that you want to get into contracts and you're close to it, bring your friends out for September 16th at the Marriott Hotel. Listen, you know where to register. KBLA1580.com. Come see me. I can't wait to see you. Let's do it, Tavis.
So be sure to go to KBLA1580.com for all the details. We'll see you Saturday, September 16th.
Need help with the job hunt? It can be challenging, but don't worry. LA County has your back. With a variety of available support services, you'll get the help you need while finding a job. We're here to help you succeed. Let's get started. Find out if you qualify at recovery.lacounty.gov/programs. That's recovery.lacounty.gov/programs. LA County and you moving forward together.
Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580. Are you worried about your credit score? Well, look, you can rebuild it. There are lots of factors that go into determining your credit score, but one of the most effective ways to improve your score is to consistently pay your bills on time over time. If you're forgetful about payments like me, try automating your bill payments. That way all your creditors get paid on time and you'll have freed yourself of trying to remember. Whatever your financial goals, U.S. Bank Access Commitment Initiatives can help support you in reaching them. Access your financial goals at usbank.com/access. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me. 'Cause I want you and I need you. And I'm down for you.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. What it do, boo? Kiki, do you love me? Does everybody have a Kiki? Somebody that's in their background that they, always have a soft spot for? Kamal, do you have a Kiki? Is she a Sagittarius? We're digging into our topics from last night because Kamal has beef with female Sagittarius.
I do too.
Yeah.
Makes two of us.
You got a Kiki?
No.
No.
No Kikis.
No Kikis. No past loves lurking. Okay. Friends.
Hi. Thanks for having me back. Love it.
Of course. Thank you for joining. So do you have a Kiki?
I have a couple Kikis in the background.
A couple?
Couple, yeah.
How does that work?
It works because you have an understanding of each other, and you understand that you understand what the relationship is.
Which is?
That's interesting
See?
because I've never been asked this before, but
Okay.
I often think about it a lot of the times. It's interesting because the book that I'm working on right now is examining my connections of relationships that I have with people that I've had for a very long time, specifically the relationships that I've had for 20 years or longer that are just kind of looming in the background. So, for instance, my first love, we met in high school, and you know how you mesh with somebody, but it's kind of like a forbidden love. You just are not supposed to be together because when you're together,
what is the relationship defined as today? I feel like you're skirting.
We're good friends.
You're good.
We're good friends. We don't see each other. I don't talk to them when they're in a relationship. I only communicate.
Do they
with them.
talk to you when you're in a relationship?
No, we only communicate with each other when we're single and when we're not involved.
How do you know? You guys, who does a temperature check?
It could be mutual.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be mutual. But I think it's one of those things. Like if I'm not with somebody when I'm 55, right? That is who I will end up with because we've known each other since high school, and we know each other and we understand each other in probably ways that other people don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that was not one of the topics of the night, but it was an interesting discussion.
I like the fact that we've been going off script a lot. Not that there is specifically a script, but there are topics that we talk about, and we've been going off of them lately.
So this next topic involves NBA Hall of Famer. We can say that now officially as of last weekend. Dwyane Wade, and there are rumblings that he could be adding politician to his resume sometime in the future. So D. Wade recently had a New York Times interview, and he basically confirmed that the Democratic Party in Florida has expressed an interest in him potentially running for a Senate seat on their behalf next year in 2024. So the rumors started a while ago that the Democratic Party was looking at he and also former basketball star Grant Hill, Tamia's husband, shout out to them, and that they were, in conversations to potentially challenge the current far-right senator, Rick Scott, that's there. And see what's happening, shake some trees, see if they could drum up some interest, right? So in the interview, D Wade said that it's just conversation, you know, kind of them saying, hey, you might be good for, and we can see you in, and we would love to have you. But, he says he's not sure if it's something that he's interested in, at least not right now. He's unsure, open. He said, there are things that he's passionate about and he will speak out on and speak up for, but he doesn't know about playing the political game, don't know a lot about it. But he also understands that he has a role as an American citizen, and as a known person, there are advantages and things that he is able to highlight and speak on that other people might not be able to because they don't have the opportunity to be in these spaces and that position. But he kind of laughed it off and said that he has a lot of things that he's focused on, and there's so many battles to fight in that sense. So he's trying to help where there's need and where he can. So he also added, because let me give the complete statement, well, that's pretty much it, yeah. So what are your thoughts on them approaching Dwyane Wade to potentially run in the Senate? We've seen wrestling stars, Jesse the Body Ventura, do it in Minnesota. We've seen actors. Ronald Reagan was governor here in California, then president. Arnold Schwarzenegger. So it's not unheard of, but do you think that it's a serious inquiry, one that he should take seriously?
I think it's funny that they're poaching him, and probably I've never kind of heard of that before, like a whole party approaching a person to kind of push.
Well, representative of the party.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. Number one, but it kind of also makes sense because he's a person of status that people feel comfortable with, a person that
has a large following in Florida.
Following, yep, and connected in Florida, and kind of can touch a lot of political points and hot button issues across the board because of who he is and things in his life. So
right, and especially in Florida.
Yes, and of all places, so that will be an interesting thing, turn of events, to see that actually happen and to see what he could do, particularly in Florida, around not only the civil rights issue but trans rights and gay rights.
I mean, that was immediately what I thought of, with the civil rights issue actually being secondary, oddly enough, but both, being areas that he could speak to, also in some ways, I guess, economic development, perhaps.
All those things.
All of them. So it will be interesting to watch. I definitely don't think that it is something that he is looking to add to his plate or do anytime soon. I think that he has a lot of other things that are developing and, evolving out, such as, he just bought a part in the Chicago Sky. He owns some of the Utah Jazz, just lots of things. So, but an interesting thing nonetheless. Something else that has come up this week regarding Dwyane Wade that I thought was really interesting was about his friendship with Gilbert Arenas. Now, we know Gilbert Arenas has been in headlines throughout his career, baby mama drama, complaints about money, tormenting Nick Young and his son. Gilbert.
That hood life. I love it.
Gil currently has a podcast and YouTube show called Gil's Arena that features himself and Josiah Johnson, King Josiah 24, and other NBA players. If you were a listener to this show a few weeks ago, we had Miko Grimes, and she's also a part of that cast. And so basically, he talks about, topical issues. But Gilbert is not someone that you would associate with or think about as being sensitive or someone that you would want to have a warm and fuzzy topic with, right? But the interesting thing happened is that before D. Wade's daughter, Zaya, became Zaya, she was Zion, right? And Zion spent a lot of time at Gilbert's house with his kids. We know Gilbert has kids. I think at that time, the woman that he was with, I'm not sure if they're still together or not, was very good friends with D. Wade's wife. So, link up end up connecting. The kids connect because they're around the same age. Daughters and sons hang out. So Zaya actually revealed to Gil her worst fear, what she feared most in life. And I thought it was an interesting conversation, and his response to her equally interesting. So I want you to hear it, and we're going to discuss it.
So the idea of Gilbert Arenas as a babysitter.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, Gilbert has a soft side, right? You know what I mean? That a lot of people can't see. It's hard for him to even see it. But kids, you can see it when it comes to kids. Like the way he was with my daughter Zaya, and even before, I'm sure Zaya shared things with Gilbert that she didn't share with me. And so the way he was with her, and I in my family, we talk about this a lot, but the way even publicly, like anytime Zaya posts something, anytime we post something about Zaya, Gilbert gonna comment on it, right? He's been a big supporter and a big fan of hers way before the world knew Zaya and knew anything about Zaya, right? Gilbert was one of the first ones to like really show her that love from a black man, you know what I'm saying, that she probably was afraid to even get from me, you know what I mean, at one point. So like, I appreciate that.
What's so funny is we had a conversation, and the conversation was, what do you fear the most? And it wasn't Zaya yet. So right. It was still Zaya. And I was like, what do you fear the most? And thought about it. That when I'm ready, they won't support me. Oh, you good then? I said, you good then. They're supporting you. They're just waiting for you. And then from there, you can just see the relief. The relief come out. And I was like, okay.
So I thought that was a very interesting conversation. Like I said, the interview was Gilbert Arenas, Dwyane Wade. I can't remember who the actual leader of it was on Gilbert's first incantation of his podcast. So it actually was Gilbert's podcast. I can't remember who his co-host was at the time. But there was, on many different levels, things that I appreciated. I appreciated that Gilbert stepped in a space, and as a black man, because we know that sexuality is a complicated conversation in the black community.
Yes.
And the fact that he gave this child the space, and what he says is he tries to come to things neutral. So it's not bad, it's not good, it's just what is going on, right? And we know Gilbert can be kind of a jerk, and that is sort of his thing. I think some of it is a defense mechanism. But underneath it all, he was a safe haven for this child, where they were, contemplating being afraid of discussing this with their parents, and that their parents wouldn't accept them. That's appropriate to say, kind of, right? And I think it's amazing that he just reinforced, they love you. They're just waiting for you to show up, which, Dwyane has said that he knew early on, maybe not to the extent, but that he knew when Zion was about 3 years old that, this kid is different. And, we need to think about some things. So I thought it was a really touching conversation, especially between two black men who, ironically enough, both spent a lot of time raised by their fathers. Gilbert is very sort of not interested in discussing his feelings. He talks about it openly in interviews and on his podcast because, he's very much a man's man in that form and fashion. However, he showed gentleness and kindness in a way that you would never expect to him. So, Trent, I wanted to know what you thought about their conversation and, the openness of two black men discussing this in that way.
I appreciate it so much. It was very heartwarming. I had to stop myself from being emotional because I identify with that very much. I remember being a young gay black kid, being afraid of talking or speaking about my truth because I knew what the reality was for a lot of the time. So I remember having those people like that in my life that kind of reinforced this confidence that I needed at that time to be who I am. So oddly enough, it's kind of what I was saying last night too. Black men are more vulnerable than they lead on. And if you catch them at the right moment, you'll have more moments like the one that Gilbert, displayed, but got to catch them at the right time. But it's important because that is so much needed just for any young black kid, whether it's a boy or a girl growing up, just the affirmation from a black male. We all need that.
So
I loved it.
Yeah, so I thought that was really touching. I thought, we, and when I say we, I mean sort of the media, and I think Gilbert leans into it, his, bluntness and sort of being the bad guy of sort of the NBA in his conversation. So we spend a lot of time talking about his antics and things of that nature. I think it's important to show off, this side when you see it and
but I think
recognize
that's all black men are like that. That's just been my experience. I've got uncles, that are just like that, but they love me just the same.
Well, we appreciate that. Shout out
Very
to
much.
our black men, our black kings that always show love and
Yes.
support no matter the circumstance, because, it's a hard thing to do to step up in all facets at times. So
Particularly around something that you don't understand or that
Right.
you don't agree with,
Right.
That's so important.
And just be supportive,
Yes.
just be there to be a loving family member, not to judge, not to say whether it's right or wrong, not to get involved in that, just say, hey, I love you. That's big. When we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines. We'll talk about what Sam says Brittany did that caused this, and
Oops,
what kind
she
of
did it again.
Right, and what kind of proof he says he has.
The receipt.
The receipts, baby. All of that and more. When we come forward, you'll hear
The pool boy.
news and sports. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. A Georgia state Republican lawmaker is calling for an investigation of Black Fulton County District Attorney Kandi Burruss. This comes after Willis charged former President Donald Trump and 18 others with allegedly trying to overturn the state's 2020 election results. State Senator Colton Moore said Willis is conducting a political persecution of Trump. Moore thinks Willis should be completely defunded of any state money and investigated for possible impeachment. He also said a probe is needed due to poor conditions at the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta. And more people between 19 and 60 years old are using marijuana and hallucinogenic drugs. That's according to a study from the University of Michigan. It showed that marijuana use has spiked to around 44% of adults under 30 compared to 28% a decade ago. And that's the latest. I'm Esther Dillard from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America, N.A. Copyright 2023.
Gotta stay fresh, my house shot with a rest bar, shot with a rest bar, shot with a rest bar.
Have you visited us online for the grand opening of KBLA.store? For the best in new merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store. Be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all the official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580.
The bounce is back.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
The rent is too damn high. KBLA joins you in calling for affordable housing. The LA Tenants Union is a diverse, tenant-led movement fighting for the human right to housing for all. The LA Tenants Union demands safe, affordable housing and union rent control. They organize against landlord harassment, mass evictions, and displacement, and mobilize for the repeal of the Ellis Act and Costa-Hawkins Act. The LA Tenants Union is on a mission to strengthen tenants' political power through education, advocacy, and direct action. To get help with your eviction or other landlord-tenant issues, take action for justice, or become a member, visit latenantsunion.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin ultra strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl, yeah. It's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, could potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, it's Jill Munroe. You're locked in to KBLA Talk 1580. You are locked in to check out all the night's trending topics and headlines, you know, across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture. Of course, I have with me tonight's contributor back again. Back like the first time.
I love it.
Back 2 times. Trent the artist, Trent Jackson, here rocking out with us. So we talked last night a little bit about Britney Spears.
Yes.
And what is going on with her and her divorce settlement. Well, it's not settled yet. It's just getting started, actually.
Yes.
It is just heating up. And, you know, according to Sam, he said Britney has beat him up. She gave him a black eye.
I believe it.
He also said that Britney was cheating with multiple men.
I believe that too.
He said one of which was a staff member. He also said that Britney asked one of the employees to film her while she was nude. And, you know, just that she has been wilding out there.
Yeah, wilding out, exactly. She been on lockdown for 20 years. She done missed out on her hoochie phase. She is for the streets. She's got a clad bikini on. She's on that pole. She is one step away from OnlyFans and risking it all.
You think Britney's going to hit up OnlyFans?
Or something, because she is on the edge. She is unhinged, Hunter Biden style.
Listen, I do think that there is something to be said about she and her freedom, right? And she just wants to twirl around on Instagram and dance.
And slide on her pole.
And, you know, be free.
And do slow down choreography from 15 years ago. For sure.
I mean, but do you think hearing his details, right? And it's plausible.
I don't care. I think it's funny. You know why I think it's funny? Because, Sam, you knew what you were signing up for. You knew that it was a circus act before you got there.
Facts.
You knew that they locked her down. You knew she was out of her mind. You knew she was on lithium. You knew she had a unit in her where she couldn't get pregnant. Look, you knew all this stuff going in. You knew it was a situation. So why are you sitting up here running your mouth, telling us more than what we need to know? We already got the details.
Money.
Yes, a scammer. I hope he gets absolutely nothing.
So you don't think, though, okay, so here's the thing. We talk about people supporting you at your lowest and being there for you. So you don't think that...
The fans set her free. That was her lowest. Let her live her life.
But you don't
think... As reckless as she wants to live it. Right. She has that right because she's been locked up. Don't none of us know what it's like to be locked up and to be pimped out and used with your own money.
I understand. That's not the point, though. That's not what I'm saying. You don't think that her husband, right, who he's been with her for a while, probably a volatile situation that he subjected himself to, right? So you don't think that he is deserving of something under those circumstances, because we would say that a woman was.
He signed a prenup.
He did.
And he negotiated terms up front.
He did.
Take it and go home. Write your book later.
Write your book later and get
Write-
money.
write your book later.
You don't think that there's something in the prenup that says he probably
I'm
can't write
sure
a book
there
or
is.
something like
I'm sure
that?
there is, but trying to blackmail somebody with a tell-all to get more money is ridiculous when you can just go write the book and make more money. If that's what you want to do.
Well, I mean, I hope that it is a peaceful resolution, right?
You know it's going to be drama.
Of course it's going to be drama, but maybe it'll be, more just quietly behind the scenes and they'll just handle the rest. I mean, because then Britney's going to be on her own. Her kids are in Hawaii now, right?
Britney Spears is not going to be on her own. There's always going to be a new person to take the spot of Sam and a new person to hang on and be a part of the drama. If you don't believe me, just ask the staff members and the pool boy and the people that she was trying to pass the camera off to say, film me. They all want to be a part of it. It's just going to be somebody else's turn. It's a revolving door.
Okay.
We've seen it happen before.
Well, then we hope Britney has someone in her corner that as the door revolves, make sure.
She doesn't.
She doesn't.
You know why? Because she ain't got no black friends. If she had a black friend, half of this madness wouldn't go on, because you know why? We'd be like, we ain't being up in a house with none of this going down. You gotta go. Lock this down.
A friend.
She needs a black friend.
Why does it have to be black?
Because we ain't going for that. If I'm up at her house, you think I'm about to sit up in here and watch all this stuff go down? Girl, put on some clothes. Get off that pole. Lock the phones up. We ain't doing all that. Lock this down right now.
I think
lock it up.
I think a real friend, regardless,
But
would
see,
be the one.
a black friend is the only one, because everybody else is just going to be along for the ride. Now, we might order some chicken or some other stuff over at the house while we chilling, okay? But for the most part, we're going to be like, lock this up and keep this on the low, because we don't need no heat or no smoke up in Calabasas tonight. Brittany, come on. Chill.
Okay.
Where her black rapper friends at? Where the
She
Yin
never
Yang?
had any.
The
That is
Yin Yang
not-
twins were her friends. Where they at?
Could you not
Call them up.
Listen, that is not her ministry, and it doesn't need to be. We don't need that.
She need a black friend.
No, she needs
And not
a
Shar
real
Jackson.
friend. Why?
Because the forensic accountant said it.
Did he say it in the chat?
He did.
Oh my gosh, he's
Yeah,
funny.
not Shar Jackson.
You guys are not nice. I'm sure Shar is like cool.
Very good.
I told you.
And she's probably overseeing. That's what she get.
So this Taryn Manning story, I'm a little
See?
confused. I need you to fill me in on
See?
the first part.
See, so
I did not watch the video.
She gets.
I looked at the screen grab and I was like, I don't think I should see this right now.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, let me show
I
it
didn't
to
watch
you.
it. No.
Let's watch it during
Tell
break.
us about it. Okay, we'll watch it during break. but tell
So
us
basically, she was in her car and she decided she wanted to get on a live or whatever and talk about how she was screwing some married guy, and she called herself a demon. About I can't even. It was just a very sexually explicit, loaded video about what she does and what she's into, and
Yeah, she said the
all
thing
these
that you
things.
guys, everybody accuses Gabrielle Union of when she made an example, and she's now been deemed as that. Taryn Manning said, I am that.
Yeah,
Proudly.
Yes, and she said, I'm going for it. And, Pennsatucky, at first when I was watching the video, I did not know it was her, because she has been clearly hitting the pipe since.
We don't know what, I mean.
Listen,
something is happening.
Linda. Listen.
Something.
It is a drug-fueled sexcapade in the back of her Mustang. She said it herself in the video.
That it was
okay?
drug fueled. It was drug
Listen.
fueled, but I don't know. We don't know how, in what capacity.
She
That's what I'm
is
saying.
high as a kite on some chemical substance, screwing her friend's husband. And she's talking about it all on the internet, making a mockery. And I just kind of laughed, because at first I did not know it was her. I just thought it was some random trailer lady, okay? Just making a TikTok. So when I realized it was her, I was like, wait, this is Orange is the New Black. I was like, so she was a real crackhead, just,
She said she was going to buy that married man a boat.
And had put the money down on it already, had the cash, and now she got play. This is just a lifetime. It's first of all, it's Caucasian business and has nothing to do with me, number one. But it was humorous because I didn't really know it was her, and I didn't know that she was like a live, active drug user.
I just saw the apology video, and
But
she
why
put it up.
apologize? Just be yourself. Just be the crazy
Because
crack
it
user
was
that you are.
But she, even crack users could feel remorse and regret.
She probably did, but she wasn't doing all that when you was down there being a demon.
She was not, and she
Listen.
was in an altered state. She says,
No.
over the past few days, I've
Ain't
had
that
some
much
time to
altering.
reflect on the situation I've been dealing with. I was deeply hurt and handled things on a public platform when I should have dealt with them quietly with the support of my close friends and family.
She ain't got no black friends.
I started a relationship with somebody who was married and told me he would leave his wife.
They lie.
In the end, I found out that wasn't possible. Rarely is, girl. Rarely is. What are you talking about?
You know.
And she says, I know what I did was wrong, but the heart makes you do crazy things sometimes.
It does.
And I am sorry for exposing my situation. I am not sorry for how I love. So
you're not really sorry because the heart makes you do crazy things.
no, she is sorry for presenting it because she knows that was inappropriate. She just may not be sorry for what she said. I think that is
Or what she
fair.
did.
People have expectations that you apologize if you make them uncomfortable, even if that wasn't your intent. So I don't know.
No, it's
She owes somebody an apology.
it's whatever. Just do your drugs in peace and at home. And see, that's the thing. When I'm out, sometimes my friends are like, you are doing the most. Give me your phone. We're not doing this. My attorney is like, give me that phone. Because we're not, nope, snatch it. We're not doing this. Wait till you wake up tomorrow and then see how you feel.
Yeah.
She needs one of those.
Yeah.
A black friend.
Maybe. Forensic accountant says, I can't think of an interesting celebrity relationship-wise. I think my last crush was pre-crazy Kenya Moore circa 1993. Is Kenya Moore crazy? I don't think Kenya Moore is crazy.
Have you not watched Real Housewives of Atlanta?
I haven't. You don't think Kenya's crazy? Your mom, wait, come on. What are your thoughts on Kenya Moore?
I mean, my mom makes me watch the show every now and then, or I'll be, I'm in the studio cooking a beat. Come here. Yeah, but Kenya, she crazy.
Is she really?
Crazy.
She is
Yeah.
bat.
Capital C.
S. Crazy.
I'm missing it.
She
So
starts
is she-
stuff.
let me ask you a question.
She's a Leo
Is she-
woman. Just start stuff and don't have no reason.
She's a Leo?
I agree with Trent. Yeah,
she
she's
just be
really
starting stuff
passive-aggressive, too.
and just be throwing darts. Oh, I didn't. Now, if somebody just decked you and slapped you in your face, you would be feeling some kind of way.
Let me ask you a question. Is this reality TV stuff? Or
No,
you
this
think-
is who she is. And I here's the thing about reality TV. I've done reality TV before, okay? The camera only films what you do. Don't matter how they cut it. You did it, you said it, okay? So if you don't want to be cut up and be looking crazy, don't do the stuff that you do because the camera is only going to film what you do.
This is true.
Period.
I mean, I can't speak, too deeply into it because
I've
I
done
only see
reality
the clips.
TV.
I've worked on reality TV. I produced reality TV.
You know how it works.
I do know how it
Don't
works.
do anything
which
crazy
Is why,
and give-
but here's my thing, which is why I asked, is what she doing assurance that every season I'll have my peach, because I saw some of her clips from her interview with Carlos King, right? He interviewed Nene a couple weeks ago. He recently interviewed Kenya. And one of the things of note that she mentioned, she talked about when she and Portia were early on the show, I think it was season 4 or season 5, they mentioned a lot of fans referred to these seasons as some of the greatest seasons of the show. She and Portia hadn't quite earned their peaches yet. And they had a conversation about, which some people say Kenya overreacted, that Portia apologized. I can't remember what the whole conversation was supposed to be about. But they weren't under contract yet then, and they didn't have their peach. They had to earn it and go through it. And, Kenya delivered. So is it a case of I'm stirring the pot, I'm poking the bear? Because just like you said, reality TV, I know good reality TV too. And I know what I need to do to make sure that check comes in every year and we can have some more Kenya Moore hair and whatever Kenya Moore products are, because what was Kenya Moore doing prior to stepping onto the Real Housewives of Atlanta stage?
Being messy in her personal life with just without the camera.
Perhaps. But the key to that statement is what? Without the camera and without the check.
But it goes back to my point. It's who she is.
I guess what I'm saying is possibly, you could be right. Like, I'm not saying that. But I also think that I have seen people do a lot of things for those reality TV show cameras, and those checks continue to go up. And the return, especially when you think about when she joined, how long has it been? Maybe 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
something like that, you have to think that it might have been a little quiet for Kenya Moore, who was seeking her out. I don't know. Just last year, she had a commercial that aired during the Super Bowl. So, I mean, seems to pay.
I think she's a smart businesswoman, but I also think that she is a little,
off.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, a little off. I got you.
I mean, because you have to understand, in order to even bring that type of drama consistently, you have to
be a little
tap
crazy.
into something.
I mean, she considered herself an actress. No, she's not that good of an actress.
And see, again,
I heard toi.
Listen, when you're playing a role, where did you get the experience? How do you know how to do that?
I mean, sometimes
where
people just
drawing
tap in.
from all this experience?
You could be observing people, modern, pattern roles after people that they see or experiences that they watch from some other people.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's all sorts of ways to build performance and to build that in there as far as acting. Again, I don't know if her levels are that, heightened, but it's in there.
Well, I think if it was, we would see her in other things outside of reality TV.
Okay. Well, listen, then you agree with me that this job is it. So we got to make sure, just like I feel, again, not watching the show, only seeing some of the clips and hearing some of the conversation, people speak a lot about Marlo. To me, Marlo seems very much, I'm going to get this peach. I'm going to hold on to this peach. I'm going to be controversial. I'm going to say it and stir the pot.
Well, she's another one that's a little. What's up, Marlo? You got a record. She like to fight. She's a thug in a dress. So.
Okay. All right.
They're all. I think the most grounded one on that cast is Kandi, because she had some other stuff going on outside of it. The rest of them is like, we know them because of that show.
Well, boom. There you go. There you go. Listen. In the chat, of course, Thomas Outlaw says, can we take Michael or Brittany and Taryn and put them all in a house? Maybe. I don't know. A reality show.
Somebody with OD. That's a lot of drugs.
Who?
I don't know. But all I'm saying is that's a lot of drugs.
Okay.
Come on, Jill.
Listen.
You come on.
Allegedly.
Okay, allegedly.
That's important.
That is important.
So,
but if they've already said it, I mean.
I guess so. Well, speaking of Real Housewives of Atlanta, right? Kandi was recently discussing the fans' desire for she and Phaedra Parks to have an on-camera conversation about those comments and that situation all those seasons ago that led to Phaedra exiting the show and the drama with Portia. Kandi said, listen, she said this on her Speak On It web series, and she said, fans, love you dearly, but sit down with Phaedra ain't gonna happen, ever. She said, I don't owe her and I will say that to anybody. I don't owe her anything, and she will never get anything from me. She did not use the word anything. She said, it's not about the fans. I love the fans. You can't defend yourself against blatant liars or people who are so spiteful that they will make up anything to tear you down and then hide. So those are her thoughts on it.
Did Phaedra really hide? I think Phaedra sat on that stage and took that like a champ and tried to explain herself in the best way possible without without dragging in Carlos King, the one who fed her
the information. Well, this is what Kandi has to kind of in reference to your point. During the time that the whole situation played out, we didn't even know she was involved. They didn't find out that it was Phaedra until much later, I mean, listen, I guess she's moved on, and she's on she's on one of those.
She's on a couple shows, but I think this is a position. I think Phaedra will be going back to Real Housewives of Atlanta at some point.
You do? Okay.
Just because she's a fan favorite.
She absolutely is.
She's one that stirs the pot and brings it in a way where I don't think that it's really who she is, because, again, she got information from somebody who made her the fall guy for it.
When we come forward, we will have more on complicated friendships. We'll get into what is going on. This is what I'm talking about, this topic right here. We'll get into the BET non-sale and, of course, more trending topics and headlines. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay. Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
Are you looking to steer your career in a new direction? Driving for the Culver City Bus can be your ticket to a long-lasting career with excellent benefits and paid training. Culver City Bus is looking for customer service and safety-minded bus operators to join the growing team. Culver City Bus offers on-the-job paid training, uniform allowance, and health benefits. Culver City Bus are now even putting their money in your pocket with a one-time $2,500 sign-on bonus. Let us connect you with an essential service job. If you enjoy driving, seek real opportunities for career advancement, and passionate about making a difference in your community, then we invite you to join the team. Start your journey by submitting an application at culvercity.org/job. For more information, visit culvercitybus.com or call the live customer service operator at 310-253-6500. Again, 350-253-6500.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As black folk, we know how to face tragedy and not fall into despair. And yet sometimes the points of pain are felt so acutely, especially when we know full well that we're being treated unfairly by our so-called justice system that at times appears to be anything but just. After more than 30 years of public service, Mark Willie Thomas is set to be sentenced on Monday, August 21st, for his conviction on bribery and conspiracy in a federal corruption trial. As you well know, Willie Thomas was found not guilty on 12 of the 19 counts the feds brought against him. This is not your typical corruption case. No lavish trips, no victim, no cash in a brown bag or stashed away in a freezer, no illegal contributions from a wealthy donor, no money received by the accused, no use of taxpayer dollars. There is therefore no need to incarcerate Ridley Thomas to protect the community. Indeed, the probation department has recommended a mere 18-month sentence. But the feds, they want MRT to serve 6 years. 6 years. How is that fair? This happens far too often to defendants who just happen to look a lot like you and me. First, they target you. Then they overcharge you. Then they fight to keep certain folk off the jury. Then they spend millions of your tax dollars prosecuting a victimless $100,000 criminal allegation. Then, typically, they win, and why shouldn't they? In reality, no case of the United States government against you is really a fair trial, if you feel me. Then, after they win, they ask for a sentence of more than 3 times what the probation department is recommending. Again, I ask, how is that fair? I read the federal government's summary document regarding the sentencing of MRT, and the charged language they use is both revealing and despicable. You can clearly see their disdain for the constituent community, for the black clergy who have stood with MRT, and mostly for MRT, daring to exercise his constitutional right to even go to trial to defend himself. The feds demanding a 6-year sentence in this case is their way of punishing an uppity Negro who dared to fight back. Let's hope that the judge in this case sees through this racist masquerade and delivers a sentence of time commensurate with the crime, even as MRT appeals this verdict. There are no good times to be black in America, and sometimes are worse than others. For KBLA Talk 1580, I'm Tavis Smiley. We welcome your comments.
Now back back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. VIPs, welcome forward. Welcome back. As we get into these trending topics and headlines, I hope your Thursday has been amazing. You know, I hope you're relaxed. Maybe got a beverage. It's Thursday.
It is.
Prepping up for the weekend, right? So let me ask you this, right? Because we know we talked about, or maybe we didn't talk about, but I discussed the Blindside case this week regarding Michael Orr, who someone just said in the chat to be thrown in the house, suing his former, who he thought were adoptive parents. So they've agreed to let go of the conservatorship, right? But there are people that have been calling for Sandra Bullock to lose her Oscar over all of this brouhaha and drama. Do you think that when people do this on social media, are they just being funny, or do you think that they're being serious? Is the expectation really that this individual that had nothing to do with the original situation did not take advantage of this man and is playing a role in a script that was written that we know off top is going to have some fictionalized elements, like she wasn't there? Do you think people really mean it when they do these things, or it's just that they have a voice now, so it's open season to continue to express themselves?
Yeah, they're ridiculous. So it's a combination of all of it. They're serious. They're talking because they're bored. They just need something to take them out of their own lives. I said it before, and they just get it on Twitter and just type all day or leave trolling comments and mean nothing by it. It's just sit down somewhere and go focus on why you got that crazy job and you hate it, you know?
Well, when we come forward, we're going to have more trending topics and headlines. Of course, more with our Keep It Real friend, Trent the Artist. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Yes, it is time for hour two. That's what happens when you're having fun. Time flies.
Yes, Janet.
Okay, funny how time flies. Locked in with RSVP with Jill Munroe. We will come forward in a minute.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. A Georgia state Republican lawmaker is calling for an investigation of Black Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. This comes after Willis charged former President Donald Trump and 18 others with allegedly trying to overturn the state's 2020 election results. State Senator Colton Moore said Willis is conducting a political persecution of Trump. Moore thinks Willis should be completely defunded of any state money and investigated for possible impeachment. He also said a probe is needed due to poor conditions at the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta. And more people between 19 and 60 years old are using marijuana and hallucinogenic drugs. That's according to a study from the University of Michigan. It showed that marijuana use has spiked to around 44% of adults under 30, compared to 28% a decade ago. And that's the latest. I'm Esther Dillard from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Shopping for new blinds? At Blindster, we offer over 50 different blinds, shades, and shutters at low prices, custom made for your windows, and shipping is free. Shop at home and order 10 free samples of any product before you buy. Blindster.com.
KBLA Talk 1580 is dedicated to empowering our communities by providing progressive talk radio for our audience. We strive to be an intersectional voice for the voiceless. As a Black-owned and operated station, we are committed to highlighting diverse perspectives and creating safe spaces for meaningful dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations, and we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community, connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
Come through with the 1986 Control album, Janet Jackson. Funny how time flies. I see you, Kamal, in here, breaking out the oldies, staying on theme. We love it. You are locked into hour 2 of RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. You know, this is the show where we hit all the trending topics and headlines in entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture. I, of course, am your host, Jill Munroe. If you want to join the conversation, hit us up, 800-920-1580. Hit us on social, KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill. And, you know, let us know what you think about the topics, what you think about the show. How's your night going? All of those good things. So listen, we talked about BET. You know, a couple months ago, everybody was buzzing. They were excited. Tyler Perry bought BET. Tyler Perry's buying BET. And we said here on RSVP, I let y'all know this months ago, that the deal hasn't gone through yet. There's some snags. There's some things that, you know, it is a possibility, but it is not a foregone conclusion. We know that Tyler owns a stake in BET Plus, the streaming service. Obviously, several of his shows are featured on there. But, you know, the deal didn't go through. Reportedly because Viacom was simply, not Viacom, it's no longer Viacom. They are called Paramount as a company. Changed their name a couple years ago. That, I guess, this asking price was too rich. You know, they wanted closer to $3 billion. I think Tyler had put together almost $2 billion. There were also bids from Diddy, and 50 Cent was supposedly involved, Byron Allen, you know, but it just didn't go down. So my question is, one, the same question that we talked about way back when the BET Awards went, and we had a conversation around this then. Do you watch BET, the channel? Outside of the BET Awards, are you checking in? Do you still view BET as a pearl of black culture? Do you go there for your information? Do you go there for, you know, any of these things? I'm trying to figure that out, right? Trent, what do you think?
No, just like then, I'm not watching BET. You know, I'm only watching BET if there's like something specific on that I need to watch. Like, okay, this brand new show is coming on BET. Okay, there's fanfare around it. You know, I'm gonna go and watch it. Okay, that's the only reason. Other than that, I'm not really tuning into BET because for what?
So, have you checked out or seen any? Run it back. Like a 8-track. I'm just like, have you seen any of the advertisements for any of the new shows that they have on the network proper,